Today, we're going to learn how to restore our relationship with the floor. And in the process, we're also going to learn how to just have more freedom of movement, improve our overall body awareness, and hopefully by practicing some of the movements that we're going to go through today, you never end up in a situation where you happen to fall or get into a position that you've never been in before and not be able to get out of it. One reason that a fall turns into a hospital admission is because someone cannot get up off the floor. So in addition to building our relationship with the floor and just overall exploring some new movements, hopefully it decreases your risk of potentially ending up in the hospital due to a fall. So as I mentioned, the primary goal of this video is to improve our overall relationship with the floor. So the first step is just getting up in a position where you can get your hands down on the ground. For some of you, it's been a really long time since you even put your hands on the floor. And let me tell you, it might not seem like a big deal now, but in my opinion, it is one of the reasons why maybe sometimes even just a little stumble turns into an actual fall is people have never been down on the ground and they have this inherent fear of the unknown. So again, right now we're just getting comfortable with the ground and just putting our hands on the ground. If you're someone that's a little bit higher level, don't worry because we're going to advance this a little bit. But for those of you that are in the really early stages and you haven't been on the ground in a really long time, you just want to sit down on kind of a low surface. I wouldn't start on something this low. You want to try and maybe even start on a normal height chair, or if you have stairs at home, sit on the second step up and try and reach down for the ground. If you go this low right from the beginning, you might not be able to get back up if you've never been down here. So just use your judgment and start on the lowest surface you can possibly get onto that you know you can get back up from. And again, we're just putting our hands on the ground, reaching over here to the side, putting our hands over here, putting a little pressure down through the arm, reaching over to the other side, putting a little pressure down through the arms, moving our legs, maybe stretching our hips out a little bit. I know I've shown this before, but just kind of getting into a half kneeling position. I know I made it look easy. For some of you, it might not be that easy, but if you just slowly move your foot back, you eventually might be able to get your knee down. But if this is all you can do, maybe you just put your foot here because maybe you don't have the range of motion in your legs, and then just try reaching for the ground with your feet in kind of a more awkward position and put your hands on the ground. Make sure you can get comfortable touching the ground in this position without falling off of the stool. Again, use your judgment. Have a chair next to you if you need to, just in case you lose your balance, you have something to reach for or grab onto. And then do the same thing with the other leg. Kind of put that foot back, get your legs in kind of an awkward position, and then just reach down for the ground, getting real comfortable with the ground. That's step one. Now, once you feel pretty good with having your feet, hands down on the ground in that squatting position, and you do pretty well getting into that squatting position and being able to get back up from it, now we're going to use this stool and we're just going to kind of squat down with one foot back and touch a stool. I love these stools with a handle so that you can hold on to something. We're not going to go all the way down to the ground, but you just want to see if you can touch the stool, put a little bit of weight on your hand, and then come back up. Again, do the same thing with your feet. So maybe have your feet side by side, maybe split them just a little bit, reach down, touch this surface here. We're going to eventually get down to the ground, but touch that surface and come back up. Same thing with your feet. Maybe get your feet in different positions, reaching across midline, and then come back up. And again, making sure you can reach in all directions. If that's pretty easy for you, we'll take the stool away and try the same thing. So now we're just going to go down, reach down, try and touch the ground, get a little bit of weight through our hands and come back up. Maybe same thing, step one foot back, put one hand on your leg for a little bit of support. See if you can touch the ground. All right, and then switch and see if you can touch the ground. If that's pretty easy for you, see if you can squat down a little bit lower and touch the ground. This is a great position. It's just an overall good stretch for your legs. And then come back up. Same thing, stagger your feet. Come down, put both hands on the ground. See if you can walk your hands around and put them down over here and back. And then see if you can get back up. Same thing, put the other foot forward. Again, we're just exploring movement, getting our feet into different positions and building that nice, intimate relationship with the ground. So again, just switch your feet, get those hands down, move them around, try and get them over here. And then of course, making sure you can get back up. Now we've gotten really comfortable with getting our hands down onto the ground and kind of getting down to the ground in a controlled manner. But obviously any of you that have fallen or had a near fall, you know that in most cases it's not really that controlled. So now we're just going to explore another type of kind of uncontrolled movement, but in a controlled environment. So this is a folding mat table on the lowest setting. It's really the only way that you can do this. I don't know many surfaces that are at this height that are this long that you could do something like this on, but basically we're gonna kind of fall backwards in a controlled manner. So you're just gonna start here and just roll back. Now, if you have the strength, you're going to roll back up and stand right back up. Again, we're just trying to really get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Again, so you're just going to roll back. If you can't get back up, then that's okay. Just kind of roll and come back up and then stand up. Nothing wrong with that. Again, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. So again, just roll back. And if you can, just roll back up and stand up. If you can't, roll back and you can stop. And then you just roll to the side and come back up. Now, if you wanted to get really crazy and really kind of disorient yourself in a controlled manner, you can try rolling back and then rolling off the side, doing a little half turn with the roll. Again, I know it seems strange, but you would rather practice these things in a controlled manner with a soft surface so that you don't get in a situation where you panic, right? A lot of falls, you fall backwards. One thing you want to keep in mind, since we are kind of preparing for falls, a lot of people stiffen up. Rigid objects break. Just always keep that in mind. And most people really will lock their arms and legs out when they lose their balance. So one thing you could focus on with this activity is almost kind of allowing your body to relax as you roll backwards. And again, a lot of people, they can't roll back up. That's a good goal, but don't worry if you can't roll back up. Your goal will just be to kind of let your body relax into that roll and then come back up. Same thing with the little half turn. Let your body relax into the roll and then stand up. All right, now things are gonna get a little bit crazy. We're gonna be doing a little bit more stuff down on the ground. Before we do that, I thought it would be good to just go through how to get up from the floor. Now, I will give a disclosure or disclaimer. The exercises or the movements that we're going to be doing from this point in the video forward, if you are not comfortable getting onto the floor and getting back up, I do not recommend you do anything that we're about to do from this point forward, because it is going to involve getting down onto the ground. If you haven't done that before, I highly recommend that you work with a therapist before you do that. But just to review for some of you that maybe get down on the floor, or maybe you don't remember like the best technique in getting back up, we're just going to go through it really quickly. So if you happen to be down on the ground and you can get up onto your hip, this is probably the easiest way to do it, is to go from your hip trying to get onto your knees. And then once you're on your knees, you can try and get one knee up onto a pad. That just lifts you up a little bit higher on that side, and then you can bring your leg up, and then you can push up, support using your hands, and step forward and stand up. Now, for some people, that technique doesn't work as well, and so then the other technique you can do is, if you're down on the ground, get up to your knees, try and get your hands up onto some kind of a higher surface, and then tuck your feet under and kind of push back. That can sometimes work for some people. But again, you can see there is no one size fits all, and that's why it's always best to work with a physical therapist first. But so just to review, if you're down, you want to try and get up to your knees, step 1 foot forward, and get up. If you don't think you could do that, you probably don't want to do the exercise. There are other variations, and I'll put links for those in the description below on other full videos that I've done on just getting up off of the floor, where I go a little bit more in depth into all of the different techniques. But if you watch that and you don't think you could do one of those techniques, I don't recommend that you do some of the movements that we're going to be doing from this point forward. So for this exercise, what we're doing is kind of progressing down onto an even lower surface than the mat. And again, the goal to this is just to get comfortable falling backwards. This is a double folded, very soft mat. And again, you want to be someone who can already get up off the ground and do all the basics. Okay, so very, very important. But again, the goal is just kind of allow yourself to kind of bend, fold over, and then just gently roll back. And then if you can't roll back up, because that is pretty challenging for a lot of people, just get back up off the ground how you normally get off the ground. But again, the key to this one is just letting your body bend, get low to the ground, roll back, protect your head. And if you can't get back up, just turn over and push yourself back up. So just another movement that I think everyone should be familiar with. We're just starting on the hands and the knees and just rolling to the side. If you've ever had a shoulder subluxation or you have shoulder involvement, I would not do this towards your weak side. I do think that if you're higher level and you have hemiplegia and you have kind of a stiff arm, I do think it's okay to do this towards your strong side. I just wouldn't do it falling onto your weak shoulder. So again, we're just getting used to kind of getting the world turned upside down and getting your brain and your body comfortable with that. So again, you're just going to start on your hands and knees on all fours, and you're just going to kind of tuck in and roll, and then try and roll back and see if you can come back up. And then since we're on our hands and our knees, the other thing you want to be able to do is you want to be able to walk in all directions. So side walking on your hands and your knees, side walking back, forward walking, backward walking, in all directions on your hands and your knees. If you can't extend both arms, I would recommend or suggest you try what I call kind of commando crawling. And commando crawling is just on your elbows, if you can. And then commando crawl back on your elbows. And then the other one I like that I think everyone should be comfortable doing is kind of like a crab crawl. So kind of with your hands behind you, being able to push yourself on your bottom using your arms and your legs. And again, if you're watching this and you think you can't do this, do not try any of these without working with a therapist. Again, it's just really good to get as much body awareness in as many different positions as possible. So definitely if you have strength in both arms, trying to move around on your bottom. Because if you think about it, you want to be pretty good at this. Let's say, for instance, if you do fall, you do want to be pretty good at being able to do these movements in case you need to get to a phone or get to a door to get help, to be able to at least practice these things when you're not in like a threatening state of mind. So again, just on your hands and your heels and just kind of scooting your bottom along. So I hope you guys found all of those fun activities helpful. It's a little bit unorthodox, but hugely valuable. So I hope you guys could see the value in practicing some of these movements in a safe manner. One other thing that I just thought about was another option that will take a little bit of work, but I think it's definitely worth it if you have family, if you have someone to help you. If you don't have a soft surface, to occasionally, if you have like a bed in a guest bedroom, to pull a mattress down onto the floor and maybe practice some of these moves onto a mattress, because I know a lot of people probably don't have a mat. You know, even if you just did it once a month, or you had family come over once every couple of months, and do that so that you can get around on the ground and practice some of these moves, I definitely think it is worth it. So again, if you liked this video and you want to see more videos like this, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. If you want more traditional exercises, you can head on over to Instagram, where I'm sure I'll be posting a few much more traditional exercises over there this week. If you want to get your specific questions answered, don't forget we do have a membership program that is available on our website. Link for that is in the description below. In that membership, you do have access to our monthly lives where you can submit questions in advance, and they're so valuable. We have a wonderful discussion every single month. I really look forward to those live sessions. Definitely, you'll get a ton of value out of that. Link for that is in the description below. I enjoyed spending time with you all today, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.